All right. So after the Baltimore event, we had a lot of you guys kind of start taking a lot of action, rethinking your marketing, and really thinking about either financially investing more in your marketing or even your time, right? Time investment, like really looking at what it can do for you, evaluating everything. And kind of, we've been getting a lot of phone calls. I know Sean's been on a lot of calls. I've been on a lot of very specialty calls, kind of Stephen, what you asked me there, I'm starting to get more and more advanced questions of things that people want to add basically to the websites because it's value, right? Whether it's a funnel, whether it's some kind of connection integration or whatnot, which is awesome. That's what we want you guys doing. So in the background, kind of behind the scenes, I'm also working very hard for you guys and looking for new methods or reinventing, not reinventing the wheel, but kind of improving the process that we have, because the whole goal of digital marketing and what we're doing here is basically speed of implementation and speed of generating leads, right? So a lot of the techniques that we use for SEO, you'll hear it over and over. It takes a while, right? It takes a while. So I have continued to kind of bang the pavement, learn, and kind of move some things around, test, and I have some things to kind of share with you guys on why you should continue to focus on certain items of your digital marketing and things that we are going to start kind of teaching, whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or you're going to be going into one of our upper level packages. And it still involves a little bit of legwork on your end, right? So we want to kind of start talking about this and start kind of prefacing some of these items. And I mean, I know I'm excited about it. There's a lot of power behind these methods. So we're going to kind of get going on that. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through an explanation of a diagram I'm going to share in just a minute. But before I do that, I want to make sure that nobody takes this as a, man, I got to drop everything and start hitting this, or this is the only way to get to number one. There's multiple ways to get to number one on Google. This is just the next steps that I'm taking with you guys. A lot of you guys are on these calls every week. So I want to continue to take you to the next level with your knowledge as well, and some things that you can be doing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share here. Give me 1 second. Boom. So this is a mind map that kind of breaking down a little bit. Just give me a thumbs up there, guys, if you can see my screen. I think you guys can. Yeah, you guys are good. All right, cool. So I'm going to break this down because it's really important to understand kind of digital marketing as a whole from an SEO brain, right? Because it can be very overwhelming, right? And it's like what we're doing. I want to kind of, in today's call, what I wanted to do is literally show you the different pieces and how much there is to each piece and where you guys are at right now. So you guys can kind of see where you're at, where you want to go, the possibilities, and is it really necessary, right? Because in some cases, in some markets, it's not. You can probably go 1 or 2 steps into this entire mind map and you're good, depending on your market, right? And some of you guys, just with the website, you guys are doing great, right? With a little bit of effort, you guys are doing great, probably because you're in a lower competition market. But some of you guys, for example, Liz and Marie, I mean, with their Phoenix market, right? Phoenix is very competitive. So it might take a little more effort on some of these things. So what I'm going to start with is here, I'm going to kind of break these down into kind of sections, and then we're going to go back and kind of explain is like where most of you guys are at, where your next levels, and even explain a little bit of our packages and what that represents. Because I know there's some confusion around that as well at times, and I want to kind of clear that up. So first of all, right here in the middle, the money site, that's basically your website. That's your core site. This one right here, as everything is structured here, there's nothing different than I talk about every week. Silo your content, right? Pick categories, pick a niche. Obviously, you guys are real estate investors, actually everybody on here, real estate investors, and then pick your services. If you specialize in foreclosure, bankruptcies, divorce, whatever it might be, basically structure your website so it's siloed with the content, right? And then I always push, and I've been pushing more and more lately, for your Google My Business. So the Google My Business, we keep pushing because it is the most powerful, basically, profile on the internet. I don't want to say it's as powerful as your website. And once again, in some cases it can be, right? But when you put them together, that's why I always say, not try to push one way or another. It's because you guys, if you use them together, they're very powerful, right? So I don't want to kind of put more weight on one or another. It's just, if you have them both, you are set up to win. Okay. So once you do that, once you have that, and you have all your websites structured, your GMB to a certain point, optimized with the correct information, you're basically at this level. You're at what we call our foundations level, right? So that's, a lot of you guys are in this stage right here, foundations. Maybe you're not adding any more content, right? Maybe you just kind of went with the out of the box, we built it for you. We set up 6 city pages for you, and that was it. Maybe you added a few blogs and you stopped, right? Some of you guys probably saw, actually a lot of you guys probably saw some ranking results, and eventually you saw some conversions, right? Because it did there was no more real relevance to the brand or any strategic strategies pushing traffic to this particular structure, right? Your website.
Roger, can you zoom in on that real quick?
Yes, ma'am. Let me go ahead and boom, and I'm going to move this over. Oops, sorry. Let's see if I can. All right, I'm just going to bring the money site up. There we go. All right, here we go. I'm going to put this down because we're going to go to the GMB next. So this right here, right? So we do, what I want to really nail down here is foundations, right? This is where you sit. We do a lot of this stuff. So when, maybe you talk to other companies out there, other digital marketing, or you're learning more, we do a lot of these meta tags, meta description, or title tags, meta descriptions, H tags, the keyword content, right? But then you add more value when you add more content, your blog post. And then there's some custom stuff that we could be doing. We don't get into this too much unless it's needed. Most of the time we get into it in our advanced packages, but the schema markup codes, those are just additional metadata to speak to the algorithm or speak to the Google bot, right? On what your reviews are, what your location, right? Exact location. But in most cases, we just stick with the advanced, but not needed to win. I mean, in most markets, you can win without this right here. But then obviously we always put the GMB and we connect it. And the services essentially are going to be, whether you're servicing foreclosure, things like that. So this money site structure, I want to be sure, very, very sure that everybody understands, in this whole ecosystem of digital marketing, this is where you guys start, okay? Because the next pieces are what's basically going to say the aha moment on what you need or where you stand, where you want to go, right? So here, if you've been sitting here and you're probably like, Roger, all right, this is cool and everything, but I've had my site for about 6 months or 5 months, 4 months, 1 month, doesn't matter, right? And I'm starting to see some rankings like, we talk about on these calls, but the leads aren't coming in, right? The leads are not coming in. Someone like Mickey is a great example. She's actually starting to rank very well. Site's doing very well in regards to traffic, but the targeted traffic is the problem, right? She still wants to tweak a little more to try to get that targeted traffic to come to this money site, come to the main site. And that's basically what we're working towards. And this might solve some of those questions a little more. But this right here, this is where I start taking people into, there's a couple different directions you can go here. One of the directions, since it's already created, it's part of the initial setup, right? Part of what we teach, not necessarily that we set it up, but the GMB, if you don't know, stands for Google My Business Profile, essentially, right? But that can be your next step, literally can be your next step. So I'm going to scroll down here. And now there's a lot of a little advanced methods in here that we, again, save for our higher end dominator accelerator level clients. But there's a lot you can do if you're doing it yourself that's pretty simple to do. For example, you can go through your profile and make sure that your services are on there. So if you go there and you audit your profile for your Google My Business and you have all the basic information, but you're missing your services, meaning, right, I go back to bankruptcy, foreclosure, divorce, whatever that might be, make sure you have those in there, because that makes a big difference. That sets you apart from everybody else, right? Your categories. Now, you have all this, but one of the things I'm going to simplify this section here is categories. So I've been seeing this a lot. That's why I'm mentioning the category portion. I'm kind of emphasize on that because a lot of you guys do have the Google My Business, but you haven't done the research in your market on what category for your competition is the best one to go with. So there's multiple categories that, depending on what market you're in, will work well. But the best way to actually find it, just do a Google search, guys. Just do a Google search for We Buy Houses in wherever you're at, right? Location. And then you'll get the map pack. Click on the first result, or even open up the map where it gives you all the results and look at your competition. And what I like to do is just audit that first page and look at all the categories, put them on a spreadsheet or sheet, write them down, doesn't matter. And then whatever category, tag a category is being used the most, that's the one I should be using for that market, right? So that's a good way, an easy way to find the actual category for your GMB. If it's different and you have something different, you need to change that because that will make a difference, because you might be getting indexed somewhere else. Google doesn't know that you want to be indexed under this other category, okay? And then what we're gonna go ahead and do is go here. These are pretty easy as well. I've been kind of talking about these quite a bit. I know a lot of you guys have kind of started moving towards doing posts on your Google My Business. So if you haven't, let me give you a couple tips here that can be very, very simple. So number one, if you're already doing blogs for your website, or maybe you're on a Content Pro Lite package with us, you can actually use those blog posts and convert those into Google My Business posts. Now, how do you do that? Is basically it's just a short, pretty much synopsis or short version of the blog, and that's what you're going to use as content. Now, the post on the GMB allows you to have one link to outside of the GMB, right? Link outside. So what you use that one link for is to link back to your blog post that lives on your website. That way you're pushing the relevance or the power of Google My Business over to your website itself, okay? So hopefully that kind of makes sense there. I'm going to actually open it up there. This one I want to make sure you guys nail down, because that one is a very easy win and super powerful. So I'm going to stop sharing just real quick, and I'm going to see, go ahead and unmute if you have any questions about the GMB posts.
Roger, this is Mickey. How often
Mickey.
should you post?
Oh, say that again. It cut out just a little bit.
How often should you post on Google My Business?
Got it. How often should you post on the Google My Business? Great question. So it depends. I'm not going to go with it depends. Forget about I said it depends. I would recommend that you're posting at least once a week. If you really want a number, once a week would be ideal, because now you have consistent content coming through. And if you have a good, pretty much a blogging process as well. For example, that's why in our Content Pro, we do 4 blogs, right? That's why it's included. That way we can blog once a week. I know in some cases, let's just be realistic. In our case, sometimes we deliver all your blogs in a week, but we backdate them, right? So they fit in each week. Don't worry about it. Go back to now you have 4 pieces of content that you can go back to. And then in the next couple weeks, you can put it on your calendar that each week, every Monday or every Tuesday, you'll go ahead and create a Google My Business post for that. So that's an easy way to kind of have content. So once a week would be my ultimate recommendation for you guys to post, and it's realistic. It's actually a realistic goal. So good question, Mickey. Any more questions on the Google My Business post? Go ahead, JP.
Do you, or could you just share your screen as you kind of do like a Google search of a business around wherever, and show us how you can identify the different categories real quick? Because I've tried this before and I don't know how to look at somebody else's Google My Business page in a way where I can find this.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and do that. That's actually a great question. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, I'm going to minimize a couple things here. All right. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and open up a tab here for a search. I'm going to do something even better. Anchored home. See if we can find a good category for you. Do you want to do, are you doing, you want me to do Florida? JP, just so it's worth your while here, we can do it
Melbourne.
a real.
Melbourne.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. I'm going to go ahead, locations, and we have the Melbourne. So this process I'm doing right here, guys, so in case you do the replay and you watch this, what I'm doing here, I'm trying to identify what's the best category to use for my Google My Business page, okay? So we're going to go to Melbourne, Florida here. All right, so we got this here. I'm going to take the keyword. So this is exactly the reason I'm going the long way, is because I want you guys to kind of see what essentially you would do. Go to your city page, the one where it's maybe the main one. And what you should, this actually, before I do that, this is what you should be doing. Locations, contact, where's contact right here. So where you should be doing this search should not be random, guys. JP's Florida office is in Melbourne, Florida. That's why we're doing Melbourne. Okay, so don't go doing other areas. You have to do the ones in your local area. So we might have created 6 city pages in different parts of the state, right, that you want to tackle. But where do you have your office? Where did you tell Google that you're located, main location? That's the category area that we want to look for. So we're going to go here, go to locations. We're going to go to Melbourne, Florida, and we are going to take this keyword. And it might take a couple tries because some don't have map results. We're looking for a map result. So actually, before I do that, I better change my geolocation so I get those correct results. And it is. And not sure if you guys can see, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but what I'm doing right now, I'm changing my browser little cool tool there that changes my browser and now tells it that I'm in Melbourne, Florida, doing this search. And that way we can get map results. So we're going to go ahead and run that result and see what we get. Here we go. We got a couple map results. So now we did the search, right? We buy houses Melbourne. Right there, we got the ads. Everybody kind of understands what the ads are. And then we start getting the organic results right here. This is where they start. There's no ad little icon. We scroll down a little more and we get to the map pack. This is what we're talking about in this demonstration, the map pack. So we're looking to see what our competition, what categories is our competition using. So I can already see the top 3. These are the top 3 ranking ones. I can already see that they're using real estate agent, real estate consultant, and real estate agency. Wow, 3 different ones, right? Write these down, right? And then, well, this is JP's process, right? And then he would go right here. This is the important one, view all. Okay, so all you have to do, it's kind of hidden here, but you might have to open this up just to kind of see exactly what it is. But this is where the categories are right here, guys. Boom, boom, and you just keep going. Just keep going. And you put those on a spreadsheet. And what I like to do is, there's not a whole lot here. Some of you guys, for example, in the Phoenix area, you're going to have a ton of them, right? Pages and pages of these guys. So what you're going to do, you're only interested in the ones that are on page 1. This is what I call page 1 for the map pack. And then what you're doing is, the category that's being used the most is probably the one you want to go ahead and use for yours. All right. Any questions on that one right there, JP?
No, that was good. Thank you.
Good.
I didn't know where to look for the categories, so that was perfect. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. So let's go ahead and go back here. All right, guys. So we're going to continue on this one. So I'm going to scroll here. Bam. And just let me know if you need me to zoom in. I think it's good right now. But now we have a couple wins. You got your categories, add your services, add your posts. You kind of have some good ideas. We're going to leave, once again, these are hard things like the business site and all that we leave for the advanced kind of packages. It takes a lot of work and some understanding to not mess up your SEO. In other words, because this, if you guys ever logged into your Google My Business profile, there is a section where you can generate an actual Google My Business website. And those are used for SEO, but it is, there's certain things you want to put and not put on these websites that can either make or break some of these rankings as well. Mainly what's called cannibalizing your keywords, over optimizing your keywords and basically confusing Google and not ranking at all. Okay, so that is it for Google My Business on the do-it-yourself portion of things that you guys can be doing. But we're gonna move a little bit to the side here, and we are going to go to this Press Advantage. I have this name here, but we use a number of them. This is just one of them. But this is the press release kind of strategy, right? The press release strategy. Some of you guys have done some of this stuff. Some of you guys have not. And in most cases, if you're working with us, all you have to do is order one. And we make sure that we optimize to the maximum amount of information that we can put on those press releases. And it has more to do than just the content, guys. There's a lot more that we do on the back end to embed certain things, certain metadata to make these things basically power up the rest of your either your GMB or your money site, right? Kind of push relevance up that way. So when we do an upper level package, you basically are here for the foundations, and then we start working in these two areas quite a bit and touch just a little bit on this one when you go into like an accelerator. And once you get into the dominator, that's when we kind of put all these together at full bore. But then these press releases, I'll kind of explain these a little more because I kind of skipped over them. These press releases are, we make up if there's nothing happening in your company that's press release worthy, we have a ton of ideas that we use mostly towards a city page or a certain keyword that we're trying to rank for, and we create content around them. But we put links inside that content to then push the relevance, because these press releases, if you don't know, we have partnerships that this piece of content gets syndicated to hundreds of news websites, and each one of those websites have high authority and a lot of traffic. So your content gets seen by a lot of people. Those people click on the links and they end up either on your Google My Business or money site. Now, are they going to convert into clients? In most cases, they won't. But you know what it did? It pinged the algorithm that you have traffic. And what it does, it moves the needle in your rankings because you're having more activity than your competition. That's the name of the game. Because if I can move you up with some of these techniques, a lot of them, manufactured kind of traffic and all this by doing all this. But the point being, we need to get you into page 1, position 1, 2, or 3 to then start getting the real targeted traffic. And to get there, and if you're going to wait 3-4 years, then you can, but these methods will get you there. And yeah, it's going to get you there with some, artificial kind of traffic that we're creating through these methods. But the point is to get you that 1, 2, or 3 page 1 rankings, so then you can get the actual targeted traffic that's sitting there on those positions. And that's kind of the methods that we use, and that's how we kind of leverage the press releases right here to kind of help out the money site and the GMB also rank. Okay, and then the last thing that I'm going to point out in regards to our entire master plan here is a syndication network. This is I've done these in the past. We made some shifts. A lot of you guys kind of saw that we made some shifts in really focusing a lot on real estate investing and creating an entire site, right? REI Toolbox, to offer services very, very specific to real estate investors, which made me extremely excited because I was able to, instead of take a broad SEO campaign, I brought in the last 2 weeks, I've been kind of cranking out a lot of work, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of testing, because I took that and just brought it all together. And this gives me a lot more power, a lot more ability to really focus for the real estate investment niche and create these type of strategies. So the syndication network is actually creating additional assets. So how we built our brand, how we built real relevance and trust with Google is signals. It comes down to entity signals, right? How many lines do you have in the water? If you're out fishing, right? If you're about 1 line in the water, that's all, that's your one opportunity. But if you have many, then you have many opportunities. And what I'm doing, I'm spreading our wings now with these new packages. And not only am I focusing on making sure we nail down your money site here, we nail down your Google My Business, and even this, we nail down your press release strategies. Now we're going to be incorporating into our Dominator package a syndication network where I'm going to build out, me and my team are going to build out multiple entities, and we're going to syndicate. There's no extra work. Basically, what's going to happen every time you post a blog post, we're going to do a version of it for Google My Business and do our interlinking. We're going to do a version of it for a press release and interlink, right? Boom, to power all this up. Not only that, we're also going to we're going to feed it into the syndication network, and all these additional entities that we're going to create for you are then just going to go in circles right here. And all this is going to build hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of signals to our main money site, which is going to speed up our ability to rank. So that's where the excitement comes in. All right, guys, a lot to consume there. Very, very cool stuff for me as a techie, but I want to kind of get a little bit of feedback, take a couple steps back here and let you guys speak to this. I'll leave it up in case you guys want to kind of see or talk about a certain part of it. We'll go from there. Go ahead and unmute, guys. It's all good.
I have a question.
Sure, go for it.
So, with the syndication network, do you guys plan on expanding your city pages, what's it called, WordPress plugin to expose what webhooks you're going to be using to push to those different networks?
We could. We already have kind of a system with here. I'll kind of show you because you probably know about this. Is IFTTT, if then that platform. So that's it's so far that's all we need for what I'm trying to do. But there will be other RSS kind of like APIs that I can connect to even power these up even more. Right now, keeping it simple, it's already kind of advanced enough, but keeping it simple, to your point, Stephen, we could plug in additional APIs, additional feeds. We're not there yet, though, in regards to hooks and hook into other platforms. All right. Any other questions from anybody else here?
So Roger, with this strategy, if someone starts like the money side from like zero and does all of this, the Google My Business, the press release, syndication network, how long would you say it will take for the website to have organic leads?
Yeah, so for this one right here, depends on the market, right? But everybody in the low competition market, this is like almost like a weeks that we've kind of been seeing. So this is kind of just a couple weeks to a month. This is just so much power going into it right now. A lot of you guys or some of you guys in low competition markets, even with our money site, even with the way our structure is, it does well. So pushing all this in, this is more really, really kind of good for people. A couple different, you guys in tough competition markets, right? You guys like you, Mickey, trying to really tweak and get down to the nitty gritty of a certain person or certain avatar, right? Or someone like JP that's going into different states, different markets, and he needs quickness, right? It's like, all right, I'm doing pretty good in Florida, but we're going to continue kind of going there. We set up a couple things because this syndication network and the way everything is structured is for a single area, right? So if you go into another state, we got to build another one, right? This is very specific because I can get very specific with keywords when we push this relevance. So for organic leads, it's hard to tell. This is more trying to get you to those top 3 positions because that's where the organic kind of targeted traffic is coming from. And that's kind of the name of the game here that I'm showing you is not necessarily how fast I'm going to get you to those leads, is how fast I'm going to get you to the party, right? Where that traffic is at. And then we got to tweak because it all comes down to conversion optimization, on-page conversion optimization, where is there enough value on the page to convert the person, right? That's when we start making the tweaks.
Okay, Roger, I have a question. So I Googled We Buy Houses in Phoenix, okay? And what comes up, I look at that list. Now, there's somebody up near where I live. So I clicked on that. This makes no sense to me. They have no reviews. They have no website. The literal address to their place is a gas station. Why in the world would they be on the top ranking? It says new on Google, but I mean, they have nothing.
Oh, I love that question. Let me open it up, see if I can open it up. This is good because it's a great example. So we'll do, let me see here. Do Phoenix, Arizona. Copy this real quick. All right, so this question is, why the heck is these guys ranking when they have no authority? It looks like, right? It looks like we buy houses and, oops.
And I just put We Buy Houses Phoenix.
We Buy Houses Phoenix. I'll do the exact same search. We Buy Houses Phoenix. There it is. And my browser should, I changed the geolocation, so it should be pushing the same, similar, not exactly, but similar.
Right.
All right. So tell me if you see the one.
Yeah. So no. So now go view all.
View all. All right. And these are the ads. And here's your organics. Start here.
Right.
And we'll go ahead and scroll down.
Okay, now if you go to the map, pull your map down because I got to go a little bit further north.
North, all right.
A little bit more. See, now it's not showing up on yours.
And it could be.
Now you're going to there, that one right there, that A and V,
Yes.
We Buy Houses.
Okay.
So look over there. It says new on Google, no reviews. And it's literally located in Circle K.
Yeah, so it's funny because they got through some of the hoops there that most of us, even us, can't get through. And I don't know why. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. I know there's some of you guys that were able to get kind of approved through a PO box. I think, was that you, Steven, that you were able to get approved? And we're like, I don't know, can't explain that. Go ahead, Steven.
I was through a UPS box, and
box.
also through a digital mailbox.
Gotcha. All right. So those are anomalies. Can't really, I can't explain it because there are some that do get accepted. I've tried it. Actually, I've had some clients. I think I want to say Segal from Maui. She was able to get one approved as well, if I remember correctly, through a PO box.
I think we did get by a PO box.
Yeah, so there are anomalies where it does allow, but not ideal. Now, why are these guys? Well, yeah. So once you get approved, then you rank here. So it doesn't matter. Now they can literally use this and start running a lot of these campaigns. This particular profile does have an opportunity to rank #1 if they kind of go through the entire process. But once again, it's an anomaly when it comes to the location. Does that make sense?
It does, but see, we're not even on there either.
Yep.
Which is
So,
irritating.
Yeah. So let's look at that real quick. Analyze that real quick. So we're going to go boom, and we'll do, where is your office located?
Chandler.
Chandler?
Yeah.
We'll see if we got some here. Liz Marie. So you guys have multiple, you guys have a lot of competition in that. You got multiple pages. Yeah, so there's some things to talk about because these Google My Business pages, they fly. Once you start doing a couple things to them, they automatic, because not a lot of people are doing anything to these Google My Business. So what Google's doing is trying its best to kind of push up the ones that do have relevant information. So in this case, we won't get too much. What we can do is actually look at the actual profile, make sure we kind of go through the simple stuff, right? And you guys, from what I understand, you guys probably have all that stuff set up correctly. Everything's on there. Now we need to start looking at, all right, you guys probably already have reviews on there most likely. So we need to start kind of looking at things that I'm showing on here, because now your competition, if your competition has one review and looks like it's very low quality, it means it has an agency behind it or an owner that knows what they're doing. that they're just pushing it. And in most cases, not even the real site. It's a secondary site that they're using for SEO. That makes sense? So
Yeah.
we see that all the time. And that's what Google is trying to get rid of as well. Get rid of all the garbage and all the people that are trying to what's called game the system and do that. So that's what I have to deal with in regards to kind of like when we get into those higher levels, because I got to compete with a lot of people that are fake sites and they're pushing a lot of black hat methods, right? So that's why we have to go heavy and go with that kind of structure that I showed, because or else, you know, there's a lot of these people out there that are just cheating the system, in other words.
All right. Well, thank you, Maria.
So
Now, Gail.
Roger, I have a question related to the categories and services. So in our Google My Business right now, if you go under the services tab, our main category was actually real estate developer, but based on what I just looked at, most people say real estate consultant, right? But then we also have a bunch of services under that category, and then you can add more categories. So what's the difference between the business like categories and the services specifically on Google My Business?
So this right here, this is the first one we should actually talk about, because I can already see you're probably like this one, the actual category, right? The profile category. So I think you guys are set up as real estate developer. Is that what it is? The full one. So if we were to do, so do Arizona, just general, because that's your entire market. Consultant, consultant, agency, investment consultant. So developer, there's one, but investment. So once again, I'm going with numbers, right? The stats. It's not telling me developers the right category for this one. I would love to kind of make a spreadsheet and kind of show it so we can do a true one. But what I'm seeing here more is probably either real estate agency or real estate consultant is the one I keep seeing more. So one of those two might be the better option. Now, which one of those two? It might not matter, but if you really want to get, you know, the true kind of, since you do have probably multiple, and I'm in Arizona, right? I did We Buy Houses Arizona, maybe do We Buy Houses Phoenix, and then do that, but do it with the first 3 pages down here. That way you have more data to make a decision on what your ultimate category is going to be. And that's what I do. When I see consistency, then it's easy. But when I don't, then I go into these additional pages and I start making my choice that way.
Do you know how to change it though? Because I'm in our profile and I don't see a way for me to change that primary category.
You should see here. Can you, here, I'm going to see if you can actually share, just so we can kind of see, because if you guys are going to be changing, it might be a good one. So let me stop sharing. And see if you can share real quick. I want to see, yeah, there you go.
Can you see it?
Yeah, add another business category. Let's go back. Let's go back to home. We're going to get out of the services. We're going to go to the home, the main profile, right? All right. So under home, and stay on the navigation bar. So you're going to go to info. Okay. So see the second option there, real estate developer. That's the one you're looking to change. You were in service, which is great, right? Services also breaks it down very metadata, but this is the main one that I was looking for. So
Hey,
those
Marie,
of you,
while you're in there, why don't you change Monday and Friday? Because I can still get calls those days, you know?
Yeah, I'll change that too.
Okay, cool.
there you go. So that you guys got a tutorial there, how to change your categories. So that is extremely important right now that we kind of see what that all is. So go ahead and do me a favor, Marie. Yeah, you got it right there. So let's go. We're going to use it. We got a couple more minutes here. If you guys, this is the time, guys, because we kind of went, you guys saw a couple of those important pieces. This is great that Liz and Marie shared that. Does anybody else feel like you're kind of stuck on some of these pieces and maybe want a little bit of a explanation on some of these things.
Yeah. Hey, Roger, I missed the part on taking your blog and what is it, condensing it and putting it into Google My Business?
Great question. Let's go over that one more time. I want to make sure that is clear. So what you want to do in Google My Business is you already get blogs, right, in your normal website. You already could probably get a couple blogs a month. What you're going to do, you're going to go to each one of those blogs. You're going to read it. You're going to create a short version of it. Just and in some cases, I'm going to make it even simpler for you. Take the first 2 paragraphs or something and just rewrite a little bit. Don't get too advanced on it. Just kind of take a little bit of that. And that's all you're going to do. Just change it a little bit, right? If you can, you could create a new featured image, right? An image that goes with the post, or you can use the same one that we use for you on your blog post, okay? So either way, just trying to make it as simple as possible. And then when you create that post on the GMB, it's going to give you an option to add a link. It's basically going to be a button. It's going to be a learn more button. And that's the call to action button that the Google My Business profile gives you for a post. And in that button, you're going to redirect it to your blog post. So what you did a loop to the same content.
So I have a question. So I've done posts before that have been rejected. And when I did like, why is my post getting rejected? And a couple of things I found said that they don't allow you to put like URLs or phone numbers or anything like that in your post.
Correct. So it's a hit or miss. As an SEO, we always try to push the limits. But what I just gave you is a safe way. I know me and JP were playing with his Google My Business, and he got rejected a couple of times because I was trying to get his phone number and a couple extra links inside the body, and we got rejected as well, right? There are some accounts, there is no rhyme or reason for it, but I do get pushed through and do publish, right? So we're trying to get more than we were supposed to. We weren't able to. So in your case, you've gone through the same scenario as JP where it got rejected. So don't worry about doing any type of advanced stuff with extra links in the body. Stick to that call to action. And the safest way to do it is just because what you're trying to do is just tell Google, hey, I'm talking about this this topic, and I also have more information on my website about this topic. And you're basically creating your own backlink. So on your Google My Business, you're creating a backlink, basically a pushing pretty much relevance to your website. And you're artificially doing that. So that's good.
That's the URL to your blog.
So it'd be something like https:// your domain name.com / the name of your blog. That's going to be the actual link.
And that goes under what's new versus offer, correct?
Yeah, you can do what's new. It's an update. It's usually the post is going to be an update. That's the easiest way to kind of do those. So actually, in most cases that we do post, it's going to be updates. That's what we do.
And what would I do? Just like kind of copy and paste off my website? Because I don't get, the actual blogs that you guys do and post for me.
Just go to your website. That's the easiest way to do it. And go to your website, copy a couple of those paragraphs. Now, I am giving you a huge kind of tip there where if you have the time, change it up a little bit, right? A couple of those sentences in there just to make it unique, right? And then link it back. That's how you're going to get the most out of it.
Is there a limit as to how many words you can post on Google My Business?
There is. It's actually kind of lengthy. I don't remember exactly what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we can probably Google that and kind of find out. But in reality, for this method that I'm kind of creating here, this is basically what I'm kind of trying to share with you guys as an SEO method. So I'm trying to kind of make it as simple as possible and not have you write some long content, right? So it's just something short, and the whole point to it is that link. The whole if you were to create all that and you missed that link, we basically missed the boat on this on this technique.
I don't know, so much of my stuff has been rejected, and most of the time I don't know why. So
yeah, keep it simple, and then that way you don't waste time and it actually goes through. Just use content inside the post, and then use your learn more button.
So you probably shouldn't be posting like videos or anything like that on Google My Business.
You can.
You can?
Yep,
okay.
you can. Yeah, absolutely. What they don't want is you posting, for example, because they know that people are trying to game the system, right? So when they see additional links, it already raises a flag. They see additional contact information. They're trying to see that you're kind of push relevance to a local, right? Your local kind of geolocation.
Okay.
So they're like, you know, we got to make it fair. This post is meant to drive updates for your client that should find you naturally, right? Organically. And that's what they're
Okay.
trying to protect against.
Okay. All right. I think I understand. Thanks.
Awesome. And Stephen, I think you were about to say something.
It was a kind of a derivative of that in that if you have like images and stuff like that, will that help with those backlinks, or is it just purely the post itself saying, hey, here's our latest blog?
No, the images are huge. Images are huge. They all
With the
carry
geotagging still in there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, because not only the geotags in the images, once again, trying to keep it simple. If you don't get around to that, don't worry about it. But if you do, just added another element, right? But images carry a URL. Those URLs kind of, they rank, even though you don't see them anywhere. It still pushes relevance signals, in other words, to your brand. And that's why all those little things are what everybody else is not doing. As you can see, when you saw that matrix that the diagram I showed you, in your industry and your guys' niche where you guys are playing, very rare. And that's why I'm creating it in a way and creating training around it, because this is what's going to pretty much put us against some of the toughest competition, some of the toughest areas that you guys deal with, and be able to rank very well using this method.
So is that image hosted on our website, or is it actually posted to Google?
The diagram?
No, like if we were going to post an image on our Google My Business, will we do it using the URL of the image hosted on our site, or will we do it as a actual post on Google My Business?
Post on Google My Business.
Okay.
Yeah, because now it gave you two, even though it's very similar images, it gave you two links to basically, two signals just by doing that. Cool, guys. Any other questions you guys have?
I do have a question.
Lorraine? Hey, Lorraine.
I guess a pretty basic. Yes. Hey,
Sure.
How are you?
Good.
So the question that I have is that I've been having an issue with verifying my My Business. So I had verified it before when I had like a USPS address. And so I changed it to a virtual address, which is supposed to be more acceptable. But then for some reason, it's not giving me the suite number as part of my address. So even if they're sending out these postcards, it's not making it to my address. And I don't know if there's a workaround, like it's not giving me the option to verify by phone or anything. So I don't know how else to get this verified.
Gotcha. That's a little bit of a tough one, because that's.
So what I did
Go ahead.
Is on the street address itself, I have my address, and then right after that, let me actually look here. I think I have a BR in there. No, I don't. I just appended the entire thing to one line. So if you can fit it all in one line, it should get it in there.
And then should I wait? I've seen that, because even when I go to update the address, I tried to put it all on one line, but when I go to the verification piece, it still doesn't show the suite number for whatever reason.
So are you putting suite? Are you typing the word suite, or are you putting STE, or are you putting
I did it
number
both
sign?
ways.
So I have a number sign on mine, and that one worked.
Okay, so you do your address, the number sign, and then the suite number?
Yeah, so like for example, on mine I've got the whatever Southwest Langer Farms Parkway number 142-277.
Got it. Okay, I'll try it that way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because the first part of all this for Google My, you got to get that verified. You got to get that Google My Business verified. That is so huge for this whole thing.
It's weird, because I had it before, and then I think there was something going on with my profile, and I didn't have it associated with my email or something. So now that it's all linked, I think I have to verify again, and maybe that's why I'm going through this whole process. But I'll try it Stephen's way.
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
hopefully that
and
helps.
it's one of those things that's once again, sometimes they accept it one way and not another. So it's worth kind of trying Steven's way and just keep us in the loop on how that works out. I know you're thinking about kind of starting, going into the notes and changing a lot of things. That Google My Business is going to become extremely important for you, very particular. So we need to figure out what we need to do to get that verified, because that's going to play a big role in what you're doing.
I'm working on
Lorraine, it
I'm
looks
working
like you can apparently go to your local gas station and set up an address there, and it seems to work. So
on it. That'll be the
just
next
ask
option,
them.
Liz. That'll
We're
I
gonna-
know,
we're gonna
let them know
test.
you're gonna expect some mail there and see how that works out for you.
Oh man, we're gonna test that 7-Eleven next and see how many gas stations we can get. Yeah. All right. Any more questions you guys have?
But thanks.
No problem, Lorraine. You guys good? All right, guys. Well, it was a pleasure having you guys on, even though Facebook is down. It's crazy to me. But that's proof that every website can go down. Nobody is safe. But that's why you have a team kind of protect you. We can do a backup, get you up fast. But with that said, guys, we'll see you next week. And if you have any questions in the meantime, you know where to catch us, support@topresultsconsulting.com. And we'll see you next week. All right.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.